Hey everybody, welcome back to Biblical Seekers. Today, we're going to go over the 7 last plagues. It's time to seek the truth.
Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord.
Okay, let's get started. Let's begin with the first plague, which can be found in Revelation chapter 16, verse 1 and 2.
And I heard a great voice out of the temple, saying to the 7 angels, Go your ways, and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went, and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
The first thing I'd like to point out is that the 7 last plagues are delivered to those who have received the mark of the beast, and them which worshipped his image. So with that being said, probation has ended, and mankind has either received the seal of God or the mark of the beast. There's no undoing that. And as we just read, the first plague is noisome and grievous sores, which will fall upon all the wicked. You see, the wicked wanted to hurt the righteous and cause them pain. So God is going to hurt them and cause them pain. And not only do they receive a spiritual mark, which is the mark of the beast, they will also receive a physical mark, noisome and grievous sores. Now let's go to Revelation chapter 16, verse 3.
And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea.
No doubt, this judgment will destroy the shipping and fishing industries. The death of saltwater life will destroy a major food source for millions of people. You see, they wanted to mess with our buying and selling, and now God will mess with their buying and selling. But now, let's go to Revelation chapter 16, verse 4.
And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood.
So now, in the third plague, we see that all the rivers and fountains have become blood. And if we continue reading, it will give us more insight in Revelation chapter 16, verse 6.
For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy.
So right here, we can see they wanted to martyr all the Christians and shed the blood of saints and prophets. And since they wanted blood so bad, God will now give them blood to drink. Now let's continue on to the fourth plague, which can be found in Revelation chapter 16, verses 8 and 9.
And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which hath power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory.
So here we have the sun scorching men with fire. You see, since mankind wanted to trample God's holy 7th-day Sabbath and worship on Sunday, hence sun worship, God will now give them the sun. And the pain from the heat scorching their skin will be so bad that they will blaspheme the name of God. Now let's take a look at the fifth plague, which can be found in Revelation chapter 16, verse 10.
And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain.
Now we have the whole world full of darkness. You see, the wicked love darkness more than light, as we can see in John chapter 3, verse 19.
And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil.
So with that being said, since men love darkness more than light, and we know that Jesus is the light of the world, and since they rejected Jesus, who offered them repentance and salvation, but rather loved darkness instead, God will now give them darkness. And as we can see, God is not one to play with. He means business, and vengeance is his. But let's continue to the sixth plague, which can be found in Revelation chapter 16, verse 12.
And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Now, you might be wondering, what does the great Euphrates have anything to do with all this? Well, you see, ancient Babylon was conquered by the Euphrates drying up, which was their support system. And we know that water represents people, multitudes of people, which we can see in Revelation chapter 17, verse 15.
And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues.
Now, in these end times, there will be a global unity during the 1 hour with the beast, when all people will come together to kill those who did not worship the beast nor his image. But by this sixth plague, the people will no longer stand together, hence the water was dried up. And now, let's go to Revelation chapter 16, verses 17 and 18.
And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done. And there were voices, and thunders, and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake, and so great.
You see, the wicked wanted to cause suffering and tears and destruction to all the saints, and now God is causing their destruction. Here, let's go to Revelation chapter 16, verses 20 and 21.
And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great.
So these earthquakes are so great that the islands and mountains will be no more. And God will now send hail, the weight of a talent, which is approximately 100 pounds, to come down and stone the wicked. All of this because of their own doings, as we can see in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 15.
For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
God is not to be mocked. He says vengeance will be his, and he means it. So what should we be doing in these end times? Well, let's take a look at Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6.
Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near.
You see, the doors of probation are soon to shut, and when they shut, there will be no more mercy. Now is the time to get right with God, before it's too late.